Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna if you are new. As you guys can tell by the title, I'm going to be sharing some runner safety tips. This can apply to anybody, but I'm specifically talking to all my ladies out there, especially if you run alone. If you guys haven't seen my last video that I posted about the Nike Run Club app, I talked about how I've recently gotten into long distance running and went from running pretty much zero to now my highest is 6.2 miles. In the video I said 6, but I did hit 6.2, which is a 10K. And so I want to start talking more about running, fitness, exercise, all that stuff. So I'm going to be sharing some tips for safety as you're running. Of course, running is super fun, relaxing. It's great to get out and get exercise, but you do have to be cautious, especially if you are a woman. So disclaimer, I'm obviously, like I just said, kind of new to distance running. I did run track before, but of course that's just running in circles. Going on distance runs on trails and neighborhoods, different things like that is a lot different than just running circles on a track. So on my phone, I made a list of a couple of different things that will help you guys with safety as you're running. Some things that I need to do myself, but here are a couple of tips to be safe while you run. This first one seems obvious, but don't run at nighttime. So obviously at nighttime, it's harder for cars to see you. Bad things usually happen at nighttime, so that one is something that I try to do. Now that the sun is setting a lot earlier, it is difficult to get my runs in after work. Daylight savings time is coming soon, but try not to run at night because of course that is going to be more dangerous. However, if you do have to run at dawn or dusk, maybe it's not completely pitch black, but it is dark outside, try to wear bright clothing, maybe a reflective vest. I know that if you run cross country, especially in high school, lots of times you guys work out at like 5 or 6 in the morning and it's not bright outside. So if you guys are running in groups, that's great, but you should still wear reflective or bright clothing just so that cars can clearly see you. I think they also make like maybe bracelets or things to put on your shoes that will flash, kind of like how bikes have that flashing thing, just to be safe that you do not get hit by a car if you're running when the sun's not completely out. This next one is super important. I think I learned this because I am obsessed with like murder and true crime podcasts. Don't run the same route or the same times of day. So you need to switch up where you run, the time of day, the day of the week. Don't get into a routine because that is how stalkers or just creepy people can track where you're going to be. If you run on the same trail every Monday night at 6 p.m. and someone starts to pick that up, you are probably putting yourself more at risk. And so kind of switch up where you run, the times of day, days of the week. And so I don't have any consistent schedule. Sometimes I will run Wednesday at 6 p.m., Saturday at 8 a.m. And so I kind of just run whenever my body feels like running. Definitely switch up where you run. Maybe you go through your neighborhood, you go to a different trail. Don't do the same thing over and over because that can definitely put your safety at risk. And also it's just boring to do the same run over and over again. So I really like to find different routes or different trails to run just because you honestly get tired of just looking at the same thing every time. And it's kind of like mentally, if you keep running the same route, you know the spots that you get tired at, you know like, ooh, this hill's about to come. And so honestly, for safety, yes, but also just to enjoy your runs more, definitely switch up where you run. Have your cell phone easily accessible and charged. So when I run, I usually always wear leggings from Fabletics. Not sponsored, I purchase all of them. I actually do want to make a haul of all of my Fabletics leggings. The great thing about them is they have pockets that go really deep. And so I actually just stick my phone and my keys in those pockets. There's no zipper. And so I can easily access my phone and my keys. They're just straight in my pants pockets and there's no zippers. This is important because you never know if there's going to be an emergency. Maybe you have to whip your phone out and call the police. It's just good in general to have your phone easily accessible. If you are running and your phone is like in your backpack, the amount of steps you have to take if you really need your phone in like a split second to take off your backpack, unzip it, dig in there and find it. You just want to have your phone easily accessible. So I would recommend maybe finding running gear that has pockets, or get an armband or like a waist belt to keep your phone in so that it's pretty much easily accessible and charged. You don't want to be on a run and maybe your mom is trying to call you or something happens and your phone is dead. So always make sure your phone is easily accessible and charged. This next one I personally don't do but might look into is you can run with a can of mace or something small and portable. If I can find one that maybe like clips on to my pants or just something that's not going to be too heavy and bulky, that definitely is an option to do so, just to feel more protected in case anybody creepy tries to run up on you while you're running. This next one is so key, is to not have your music too loud. If you're running with headphones on, do not have your music on full blast, because you are completely cutting off one of your senses and you're not able to hear if someone runs up behind you, if a car maybe is swerving towards you. And so an option is to either turn your music lower or only run with one headphone in. I usually have both in, but I don't turn my music up all the way so that I can still hear what's going on around me. Next is to run in partners or groups if possible. I typically run alone because that's kind of just like my time just to go vibe and run and relax and stuff. But of course, if you have friends who like to run, or maybe you're on a cross-country team, you're probably running in a group, and two is always better than one. Groups can definitely help you if you come across a sketchy situation. Next is to run routes or areas that have people and cars. Don't go to some random rural road where there's nothing for miles away and you're just running alone on the road. I personally feel more comfortable when I pass other runners, bikers, walkers, when I'm kind of close to cars driving by. Just don't run anywhere where you are completely isolated, because that just sounds like a scenario from one of my true crime murder podcasts. So try to run in places that are kind of populated. Of course, you're not trying to go to like rush hour at the park where you have moms and strollers, dogs, and all that stuff, but definitely run in places or areas that there are cars and people around you. If you are running on a trail and there's other people biking, running, walking, this is just like runner/trail etiquette in general. But before you pass people, and you're supposed to pass on the left, look over your shoulder just to double check there's not someone who's running faster than you coming by, or a biker. You really don't want to just blindly go to the other side to pass someone and the bike is zooming by and you get ran over. So just quick check over your shoulder to make sure nobody is coming by. Another place that you should check over your shoulder is if you're walking alongside a street and you're coming up to a street where cars can turn right, if that makes sense. Also double check over your left shoulder, because sometimes cars will just whip it and turn right and not even pay attention to you crossing that sidewalk. So always just a quick glance over your shoulder just to make sure you don't get pummeled by a bike or hit by a car. This one I don't do, but you can share your location from your phone with a friend or family members, just so that they can see where you are and know where you are. Something else that I actually do is Something I do is that whenever you go on a run, let somebody know. Tell a friend, your mom, whoever you live with, your roommate, that you are going to go on a run. It's so important that at least one person knows that you are going somewhere. If you live alone, maybe just text someone like, hey, I'm about to go on a run, just so that they know where you are. There's so many times where I go on runs and my mom I live at home with my parents right now. My mom kind of knows about how long it will usually take me to do a run with, driving over there, running my cool down, and come back. Last Monday, whenever I hit my PR and I ran 6.2 miles, and then after that I walked like 2 or 3 miles, so I was gone for a much longer time than usual, and she was calling and texting like, hey, where are you at? Are you okay? Just because she kind of knew the routine and how long it usually takes. Let somebody know that you're going on a run. It's always good just so somebody knows where you're at. In case something happens, someone is going to be looking for you. If nobody knows that you went and something does happen, then no one is going to be looking for you. That sounds very pessimistic, but again, these tips are really just to be proactive and prevent something from happening, and you always have to look out for your safety, not just when you're running, but everywhere in general. This next tip is for safety, but also just in general to care for yourself and have better runs. Make sure that you are drinking a lot of water preparing before your run, proper hydration and nutrition. You do not want to be running out on some trail and maybe you're alone and pass out from being dehydrated and nobody finds you, or it takes a while for people to find you. So make sure that your body is properly fueled and that you feel 100% good to go before you go on your runs. Use sidewalks, use trails. Don't run in the street if there is a sidewalk or a trail. There's just so many instances of bikers and runners and pedestrians getting hit by cars. People drive crazy. Unfortunately, people drive drunk. There's new drivers. You never know what is going on the road, and you want to distance yourself from that. So if there is a sidewalk or trail available, please use that. If for some period of time you do have to run on the street, run on the left side of the street. Of course, if you live in a country where you drive on the other side of the street, switch to the right side. In America, we drive on the right side. So if you run on the left side of the road, you can see cars coming towards you. If you're running on the right side, you don't have eyes in the back of your head, so you can't see when the car is about to come. If you do have to run on the road, then run on the left side because you can be more aware of cars coming towards you. And my last tip is pretty self-explanatory, but always be aware of all of your surroundings. You need to know what's in front of you, beside you, behind you. Whenever I'm running, I often do just kind of quickly glance behind me, especially if maybe there's not that many cars around for a while, or I feel like I'm kind of in an area where I'm alone. I don't know why, but it's just that feeling like maybe someone's following you. I always, maybe every couple minutes, just quickly glance and check around me. I'm always aware of everything going on around me. If I'm running by a road, I'm looking at cars. Is there a weird car that's slowing down or turning around? If I pass people, I'm looking at them. Usually I'll wave if it's a runner. So just in general, in life, in running, always be aware of all of your surroundings. And again, use all of your senses. You should be looking around. You should be able to hear what's going on around you. And so definitely be aware of all of your surroundings. And I know this sounds like a lot, and it sounds like going on a run by yourself is super dangerous, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Have precaution. Running is so amazing. It's so freeing and relaxing. For 30 minutes, 40, an hour, however long I go run, it's kind of like me zoning out and escaping from the world. And so even though I am doing all these things and being super cautious and aware while I'm running, I'm also just enjoying the run. I'm de-stressing. I'm listening to my music, my podcast. I'm feeling super great whenever I hit new distances, new times, and new goals. So if you are thinking about getting into running, I highly recommend it. Check out my last video. If you don't think you can run, I promise you can. You just need a bit of motivation and push. So those are my tips for runner safety. To all my runners out there, please be safe while you're running, especially to my ladies out there. Always be safe, be aware of your surroundings, but most of all, I hope that you guys enjoy your run, enjoy your journey if you're getting into running, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Make sure that you are subscribed down below. I want to start posting more running videos, and I do upload new videos every single week. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!